Hello and welcome to RBA News Center. Today we will have an interview with Skol Gaming. It's going to be a lot of fun and I hope you guys enjoy. Please welcome Skol Gaming.
Thanks for having me on the News Center Tampa. It's a pleasure to be here, and I look forward to talking a little bit about the RBA.
Yeah, it's going to be really fun. Let's start off with a little bit about you first, okay?
Okay.
How did you get your YouTube name, Skol Gaming?
Well, I am a diehard Vikings fan, so when it came to coming up with a idea for a channel name, I thought, well, Skol. It's the Vikings fan channel. Sounds interesting, catchy with the gaming. Well, gaming content is what I make. And then with the network side of things, originally when I made the channel, I thought I was going to work on it with 3 or 4 friends. Then they all backed out. I decided to roll with it and see where it would take.
Yeah. And you're the Taekwondo Card A, right?
The Tonawanda Cardex, yes. They are an NFL franchise, or a former NFL franchise. They only played one NFL game. I think they lost 35-0 or 42-0. Making them the most futile NFL franchise in history. I wanted to pay tribute to with my RBA.
Other than RBA and probably being a fan, do you have any other football experience?
Well, so I'm a season ticket holder for the Vikings, but in terms of other football experience, I have never played organized football myself, to be honest. I was always on the smaller side, so I played like touch football in the backyard, but I just was never big enough to play. I love watching it. I go to as many games as I can.
Yeah.
Retro Bowl is just another outlet of my fandom.
What's your favorite team and why?
The Minnesota Vikings are my favorite. My second favorite is the Kansas City Chiefs. Fun fact that most people might not know.
Why do you like those two teams?
Well, the Vikings, because I'm from Minnesota. They're my hometown team, and they've had some fun years for me as I've grown in my football fandom overall. Poached Brett Favre from the Packers in 2009, and then Bounty Gate kind of robbed us of, in my opinion, what should have been a Super Bowl opportunity. Adrian Peterson was dominant for all those years, and then for the Chiefs, they had their training camp in western Wisconsin, and I live just outside the Minneapolis-St. Paul area, so it was actually closer to go to Chiefs training camp than Vikings training camp. As a kid, I watched the Chiefs in person more than I watched the Vikings when I was like really little. So I like the Chiefs from that, and I like the Vikings because of being from Minnesota.
All right. So we're going to move on to your performance this season, starting off with weeks 1 to 3.
Okay.
And
so I think these were on the old build of the game before the defense took steroids.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Your season opener is pretty good, 40-10. Probably the best score out of all of them.
Yeah. Yeah, Indianapolis, they don't have a good team on my save file. Tennessee was pretty tough, and then Green Bay, I think they're a tough team, but I think I had a decent result because it was, 40-13?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think my defense made a few plays there, which, I mean, as we know, the defense likes to stop the better offenses more than the worse ones.
Yeah. In that game against Tennessee, that must have been hard for your defense.
Oh, yeah. I mean, part of it, too, I know people force close out. I don't have the time or the interest in doing that, so, could I have forced closed out and won by more than 11 points? Sure, but it wasn't worth it to me. That's not how I want to play.
Yeah. And it seems like your offense is playing pretty solidly, just missing 1 2-point conversion, it looks like, in week 2.
Yeah, the offense did what they could. Again, it was just the defense that game not showing up at all,
Yeah.
to be honest.
Yep. We're gonna move on to week 4 to 6, and week 4, 51-3 against Chicago.
Oh, yeah. And Chicago, it doesn't matter how bad or good their team is. They seem to be the one franchise that every time I play them, I beat them by like 30 points. No
Yeah.
matter how bad my team is and no matter how good their team is.
Yeah.
It just seems like something with the engine. In my NFL league, not to talk about that too much, but I beat the Bears 80-0. So 51-3 in a sense was a letdown, but I think it was my best win on the season,
Yeah.
so I'm happy with it.
Seems like in the game there's at least one team in each division that's pretty bad. In my game,
Yeah.
it's Miami that's the absolute garbage team.
Yep. So I agree with you. Miami, they seem to be terrible most of the time in game. Just Indianapolis and Pittsburgh tend to be not very good.
Mm-hmm. Moving on to weeks 7 to 9, Washington seemed a little bit hard for your offense, but pretty good defense work.
Yeah, and what happened there, that was the first game on the new update. I didn't catch it until after that game was completely in the books that I played the whole game on 2-minute quarters.
Ooh.
And there was no way to redo it. So, yeah, the offense only saw the ball 3 times, 3 touchdowns, missed one 2-point conversion.
Yeah.
But thankfully, it was before the E League.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, I played all my games before the update, unfortunately.
Well, it's probably fortunate for your results for this season, but if you haven't played the new update yet, it will be a bit of an adjustment.
Yeah. I've been playing the new update on my other saves, which is nice.
That's smart. That's
Yeah.
smart.
And then
Um,
it just seems like your offense is just being solved with those 40-point games.
yeah, I figure out 5 touchdowns at least with a year 3 offense. That's about the max for what.
Yeah. Moving on to. Oh, I put week 7 to 9
Go ahead.
again. Moving on to week 10 to 12. You had your bye week in week 10,
Yep.
and then
Jacksonville had a tough defense. I think I fumbled twice and threw a pick and still put up 25 points.
that's really good. And only giving
Yeah.
up 12.
Yeah. Again, I don't think they had too good of an offense, and my defense showed up to play that game.
Yeah.
They bailed me out quite a bit.
Yeah. And then Minnesota with. It's just helping your strong offense consistency.
Yeah, and I mean, again, I think I missed a 2-point conversion, or it would have been another 40-22. Minnesota tends to have pretty good base teams. Them in Green Bay tend to have the best ones in the North.
Mm-hmm. Even
Just
though
ran into what I ran into.
yeah, Minnesota seems pretty good when you're facing them, but their scores in the North does not seem that good. 5 and 6 in this screenshot.
Yeah, but I can tell you they're like based on the star ratings are twice as good as the 7-4 Chicago team. Like they're
Wow.
3.5, 4 stars, and Chicago's like 2.5 stars.
Wow. And now
Yeah.
moving on to week 13 to 15. New Orleans, that must have been a tough game.
They were 5-6, but I think they had a 3.5-star offense and a 4.5-star defense. Their offense just threw like a hot knife through. Nothing I could do. I think that game actually went to overtime because they scored to tie it at 30. I had enough time to get a field goal, but not a touchdown. So I took it to OT to get a touchdown to win by 6 instead of 3.
Wow. That's a smart move right there.
Yeah.
And then following that up against Chicago and New York Giants, 44-9 and 40-7.
Yeah, I mean, Chicago, that was a great performance again. Now, the Giants, I should have won 40-0, but what I did, I had 30 seconds left. I thought I'd be able to get a field goal to win 43-0, and instead I threw a pick 6.
Oh.
Yeah,
Right.
but you got to risk it for the biscuit, as the saying goes.
Yep. Sometimes you do. Now, looking at your league position in the Ultimate League, right now you are seventh, 7 points to the good for making the
Yes.
playoffs. Um, do you think you can uh, get up in the standings at
Well,
all?
I had a tougher game against Green Bay week 17, but week 16 I took on the Dallas Cowboys, and I feel pretty good about that performance. I'm hoping it's enough to at least maintain the seventh spot, maybe even move up to sixth. I know in the Ultimate League, unlike the Foundation League, a lot of the teams in there have players that are more than 2 seasons in, like mine is. So the fact that I'm in the top 8, still building my team up, I'm
Yeah.
happy with that right now.
Yeah. With my oh, talking about moving up, the Champions League will now be a 32 league team league. So
Ooh,
it looks like
that's big news.
yeah, it
I
looks like
like that.
yeah, it looks like you're going to be automatically promoted, and but you still kind of want that championship, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
If you're not playing to win a championship, what are you playing for?
yeah. Well, right now personally
Well,
playing for promotion.
that too. I mean,
Yeah,
certainly I want promotion, but you want the championship with the promotion.
yeah,
And I think once you punch your ticket to the playoffs, anything can happen, which is
definitely.
the beauty of a playoff.
Mhm.
And big thing, I don't want to be in a relegation zone where I somehow wouldn't move up.
Mhm.
Because I mean, if it happens, it happens, but that would be a tough pill to swallow.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, moving on to ways around the league with Skol Gaming. This
Yeah.
part is just talking about how you play and stuff like that. So, a lot of people play left to right. Some people play right to left. I personally play both ways. Which way do you play?
Oh, I go right to left. Right. So I have my quarterback on the right, and I throw it to the left. That's what I mean by that. Because when I first downloaded the game, that's the way they had you play, and I just got so used to it that like I tried playing both ways, and I literally got dizzy trying to do that. It was
Yeah.
weird,
For me,
but
bizarrely, it's easier. I don't
here's
know
the
why.
thing: like when I've played going way, like by the end of the quarter, I start to get used to it, but I'm just so comfortable going the one way that
Yeah.
if it's not against the rules, why not play the most comfortable
Yep.
way? Yeah, so then in terms of just like general gameplay strategy, I try to avoid turnovers as much as I'm sure from the fact I get about 5 touchdowns fairly consistently, you can tell that I mostly do the way I do that. I just do short underneath passes so the defenders can't alert. Now with the linebacker covering running backs, that's been a bit of an adjustment, but I've gotten used to that. Then the one big thing is trying to get out of bounds to avoid fumbles.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's better than others.
Yeah. Do you run the ball at all?
So with the running game, for the most recent update, I would run 3 to 7 times a game. I'd always run just outside my offensive tackle, try to bounce it to the outside whenever there weren't many defensive backs on the outside. My wide receivers would do a pretty good job blocking. With the most recent update, the blocks on the outside just aren't there. So I've almost completely stopped running the ball, other than, third and inches, I'll run it to get 1 yard.
Mm-hmm.
That's about it.
How are you feeling about the new updates with the league? Do you like this new 2 week schedule?
Yeah, I think the 2 week schedule's nice. It gives more time to get games in, and where I'm in 4 leagues total, having a little bit more time, it allows me to enjoy playing all of my games for all 4 leagues. So that's been really nice.
What's your favorite thing about the RBA?
Really like the promotion and relegation system, and the new E-League is probably my favorite thing because it gives like a second meaning to getting good scores. So like obviously you play for your own pride. I'm going, well, the top eight make the playoffs. I just want to get the top eight. With the E-League, it's like, well, if I'm part of a team and they rely on my scores, I've got to get the best scores every single time for them beyond just trying to make the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do you think any of your players are going to be able to make the All Alliance teams?
Oh, I would have to look. I think my quarterback was hurt for a game or two. I might have a wide receiver that's good enough, but otherwise, unless any of my defenders did something crazy, probably not. But one of the big things I've found is that with my offense is that I'll get touchdowns with my defaults. Because I found when I try to get star player touchdowns, commit more turnovers. So I'm saying, well, I'm going to sacrifice my star player stats for the sake of team success. So none of them make it. It's in the name of team success.
Mm-hmm. And that's what it's all about to win, right?
Right? Win at all costs as long as it's by the rules, is my belief.
Mm-hmm. Do you know anything about the IRBA? I've been hearing stuff about it, but I don't really know what it is.
Yeah, so I'm in a unique position where I help with the commissioner account for the NFL. That I'm going to try to not say too much with my inside information, but the basics are it's going to be kind of a parent group that oversees a World Cup between the RBA, the FCS League, the FBS College League, and the NFL League. So those four big leagues that are widely acknowledged as official leagues send representatives about once a month to do special teams and special team builds in a world competition.
That sounds really fun. A lot like FIFA's World Cup, trying to be the best of the
Yes,
best.
yes, and it might take a slight twist towards the Olympics in terms of we'll have different difficulties in swiping permissions and kind of have one representative take on each side. But it should be really cool.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it now that I know more
Yeah.
about it.
The toughest thing will be which league do I represent because I'm in all. I
Yeah.
guess I just need to worry about representing any of them by being good enough to represent them.
Yeah. Definitely. Anything that you would change about the RBA?
Um, Good question. I think depending on the direction the E League goes, I have a couple different ideas for an E League, whether it's through the RBA or through something else that can make it a little more interesting, such as having teams specialize in either offense, defense, or special teams. Um, it would also be interesting to make the impacts of the draft and free agency different, but I don't necessarily understand those functions yet enough to know how I might want to change them.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really the only thing I can think of that I'd change a lot. I think the league is running really well. It's set up for long term.
Yeah.
Don't fix what ain't broke.
Yep, definitely. Well, I don't have anything else to talk about. Do you have any final remarks?
Um, every Monday, I make an RBA Monday video for my channel. I'll be plugging this interview on my next RBA Monday video. Be sure to check that out, and I'll be sure to tell people to check out our interview. I don't know if we're posting this Sunday or Tuesday, but either way, it will be within a day. So
Yeah. Well, thank you, Skol Gaming, for coming along for this interview.
Yeah, thanks for having me. And
It's been a pleasure to have you for this interview.
yeah, it's been nice getting to talk shop about the league. And if you're thinking about checking out the RBA, check it out.
Link to the website will be in the description below. We hope you've really enjoyed this interview, and this has been RBA News Center interviewing Skol Gaming. This is Tampa RBA signing out.
Right.